want to lick her feet. Video game is only video game if I'm playing with a sweaty, half-naked man standing in front of them or using a bunch of props to block them repeatedly. Learn how to let go of the opinions you don't. Be petty about it. Hateful messages, poor behavior, misogyny, scandals, and even murder over games. How did game community get so toxic? And more importantly, how can we stop this happening from the cozy gamers as well before it's too late? If you're new to the channel, hi, I am Moonsugar Cake and I make videos and live streams about Infinity Nikki, Star Sand Island, Witchbrook, and other games that I enjoy. First, talk about when, why, and how exactly the cozy games community is getting toxic. In this video, I'll talk about 3 completely different games: Genshin Impact, Valorant, and Infinity Nikki. I chose these 3 games just for personal reasons, which is 1, they all have quite toxic communities, and 2, I know them inside and out because I played hundreds of hours, maybe thousands even, of these 3 games. But you could pick and swap for any other game ever. They're just a reference of what the future will look like for us if this continues. And before we start, a small disclaimer: I am not going to talk about whether these games are good or bad. No, I'm only going to talk about what the player base is doing and their behavior. Let's start from the beginning. September 2020, Genshin Impact is released, already in controversy. Players over the world call it a Zelda copy, with some more extreme even making news by smashing their consoles in protest to the game release. They ended up releasing a Chinese exclusive collab with KFC. After all of that, Chinese players specifically would be able to get special rewards if they visited a KFC restaurant in person. The problem was that the players overcrowded the KFCs, and some started stealing the stores, making use of the crowd. It got to a point where the police had to shut down the stores because of public safety. And before anyone makes this ignorant comment down below, this poor behavior is not exclusive to the Chinese player base, okay? Anyways, fast forward, many months later, we in the Western countries would finally get those same KFC rewards by joining a Twitch event, where essentially if you bought subscriptions for a participating streamer, you'd get those same rewards. As a streamer, you would need to sign a contract of exclusivity, where you could only stream Genshin Impact for 2 weeks with no payments and sign an NDA to prevent you to say anything negative about the game. This caused a huge backlash from the community, which started witch hunting not Hoyoverse the company, but the streamers and content creators who signed the contract. Yeah, crazy stuff. As you can tell, the player base was slowly getting negative, always complaining about every single thing, every single reward, every character kit, every update content, and so on. Until 28th of September 2021, Genshin's Impact first anniversary. Some people may have forgotten by now, but I remember it clearly. The first anniversary was a huge mess. Everyone claimed that the game was dead, would never be able to continue after losing millions of players. They've got review bumped to 1 star in every single website imaginable, all because the players were displeased with the anniversary reward. They wanted more rewards for the anniversary than they were given. This ended up with Hoyoverse firing their PR manager and hiring a new one right after, with the social media pages being completely renamed and changed, which many pointed fingers at the new PR hired. Yes, the player base saw all of this entire mess and still managed to pinpoint the entire situation on a single woman who had just joined the company. Of course, just so you know, Hoyoverse has over 5,000 employees, but for some reason I totally can't figure out at all, some players think this is a random woman's fault. Now, this community is fully toxic, negative, and just plain entitled. But harassing other innocent players and women, of course, is nothing new, and I guess that got boring really fast because the player base started harassing voice actors as well. When Sumeru was released in 2022, Hoyoverse faced a backlash again. due to the alleged cultural appropriation on its designs, mixing completely different elements from different cultures without respecting its proper traditional usage. So instead of demanding change from the company or stopping to give money to the game, the players decided to harass the voice actors who are merely working. Again, yes, this makes absolutely no logical sense, but the fanboy culture is insane. Fast forward, after players, voice actors, and female employees are constantly harassed for a number of reasons that change more often than these incels quotes, we've got the infamous K-Vat hack. K-Vat is a character in the game, and a group of absolutely evil players were exploiting a hack to enter people's worlds and delete important elements from the game that would prevent you from continuing to play. So these toxic players would go around deleting stuff permanently. Reinstalling the game would not fix it, and nobody really cared. Even Hoyoverse themselves took a long time to admit it and fix the problem. The issue is that all the players cared about was the apologems, so rewards in exchange for the problem being resolved. Always thinking about themselves, never caring about the other players who just went through a really bad experience. Not only that, but Hoyoverse doubled down and did not give any rewards for the incident. Obviously, many people got even more upset, but just like this user said, giving rewards could incite players to do even more hacks again just to get a few more gems, because this player base does not care about each other. And finally, the last scandal I wanted to mention in Genshin's timeline. Quick disclaimer, this is extremely upsetting, and if you can't deal with heavy stuff right now, please skip to the timestamp you can see on the screen. For this issue, I will be using this amazing in-depth post from Reddit as a reference because obviously I do not speak Chinese and I don't have all of the details, so I'm trusting this post moving forward. Not only all that harassment was happening already, but a new issue arose. For months, players have been bullied, doxxed, and humiliated over a fictional character from Genshin called the Wanderer. The author starts with, "I witnessed lots of fun wars over trivial things. Every little thing can start a war, like Ayaka having a second video, Shogun kneeling in another scene, Alhaitham having Kava's house keys, Charlotte not knowing the Shogun's identity. Literally anything can cause conflict. So people will fight over anything, no matter how trivial it is if it's online." Now I ask you, can you imagine this happening in person? Like you go to work and some people are fighting over a game on your office? It's insane. Some people treat these characters like they are real, getting upset depending on how the character is, quote unquote, treated. Over time, matters got worse towards this character, Wanderer. Well, you probably guessed by now, but the Wanderer is a popular character among women. He is hated by a small but very loud group of male players who see this fictional character as a real threat, due to their very fragile self-esteem, obviously. And if you think that that's pretty bad, sit down, because it's going to get much worse. Some of these male players are not only insane, but also disgusting. They hated on Wanderer because, quote-unquote, he took Nahida away from them. If you haven't played Genshin, Nahida is a friend of Wanderer in the story. They have no romantic connection whatsoever in the game. The author also mentions that on Nahida's official videos you can see comments like, "I want to lick her feet," or "Nahida's my wife." But the problem is that this is Nahida. This child is Nahida. Fictional child, but still a child. So over time, Wanderer became a symbol of a gender war related to the game, between women and males. They would complain about how the game should continue to be men-oriented, whatever the fuck this means, and they made an effort to chase and harass all of the players who like that specific character, the voice actors of the character, and even the Hoyoverse employees who were women, calling them slurs and saying that their only purpose on the company was to destroy the male players' joy. These males hate women. This is not an exaggeration, this is pure, irrational, unintelligent hate because of a silly little video game and fictional characters. And this hate is seeping through from the online world to the real world, harassing these women at their workplace, at their homes. So they've made sure to make the Wonder banner pop every time it appeared, and because of the harassment, many players would give up on pulling for them because just having him in your account could result in you being targeted or bullied. The news of his banner flopping went trending online, and these haters felt like they've won. They successfully, quote unquote, beat the company and the other players. This story actually gets even worse, and it ends up with the murder of multiple cats, which is absolutely horrific, and I honestly don't want to talk about this in further detail. Also, please don't look it up, because these people don't deserve any more attention. But I wanted to end this by mentioning the author's last few words, which I really resonate with. Sometimes I feel sad for Hoyoverse writers. Every little thing can trigger the players. It's almost impossible to write an interesting story. They can only show their talent in world quests since people give NPCs more tolerance and has no fan wars over them. So now I ask you, do you think that Genshin Impact will ever make a proper good story when they are not able to use the actual characters? Hangouts? Will they ever release well-designed male characters with good kits even? Under these conditions, we will never have a balance or a diversity of cast or good storytelling because of this. A small group of toxic players are essentially ruining the game for everybody else. Even if you had no idea this was going on, this is affecting your experience as a player. So I hope that now we can visualize together how very slowly things escalated to a point of no return, right in front of everybody, and nobody did anything to stop it. I'm going to talk briefly about Valorant since everyone knows already how toxic all Riot games are, but I want to mention it because even though it's a complete different game of a complete different genre, it still connects really well with what we talked about on Genshin's issues. Valorant is a FPS game where you just shoot, kill, end of story, next match. It's pretty straightforward, not complex at all. It's a super easy game, but you do have to play in a team of 5 people where you can use a voice chat to talk to your teammates who are strangers you've never met before, just a small reminder. And as you can imagine, it rarely ends well. Many players will monitor your every action, and if you make a mistake, they immediately rage and curse your entire bloodline because you missed a shot or didn't dodge fast enough. Imagine you had a long day at work. You want to play a silly little video game to have fun and relax without having to think much. This is the perfect kind of game. It's mindless, it's casual, and nobody's paying you to earn money when playing this game, you know? It's for fun. But for some reason, players seem to have this notion that you have to be quote-unquote good at the game, or else you don't deserve to be alive. It's the equivalent of someone coming up to you and say, "You're so bad at crochet, you should die." And don't fret, I'm really decent at Valorant for someone who plays very casually, of course. The problem for me personally is that I play completely solo. So because I don't have friends or a team to play with me, I always experience a lot of toxicity when I turn on the voice chat. And here is the second major issue with the Valorant experience overall. If you are a man and you make a mistake for whatever reason, or you have a higher pitched voice or a certain accent, you will be dragged down, yelled at, raged at, like you're the worst person to be ever born. And when you're a woman, there is no winning because you will be dragged the exact same way, and sometimes players will even quit the game just because you're a woman. Sometimes I say, "Hi team, hello," and the players will instantly say, "No, not a woman," and instantly quit without me even being able to play. And if you are a woman that plays pretty well and usually tends to carry the team, you will also be harassed because either you have some imaginary boyfriend playing your stead for whatever reason, or they will bother you relentlessly and hit on you non-stop. You will never have peace. So the result is, most of us do not use the voice chat ever, further separating people due to their accents, gender, social constructs, and voices, reinforcing the us versus them. And you will soon realize that this mindset is the source of all problems everywhere, not just games. So, quick recapitulation: in Genshin and Valorant, we can observe the following issues: negative bias, mob mentality, rage bait, misogyny, misinformation, and lack of empathy. Negative bias is how positive things have less impact on a person's behavior rather than something negative, which results in many of us humans tending to focus on the negative aspects of situations rather than total, which is natural. Mob mentality explains how most people change their behavior to match the group that they are in. Sometimes this is from birth and outside of your control. For example, would your religion be the same if you were born in Japan? It would not. It would not. But it also explains the fanboy culture. So depending on what community you are in, like we see in animes and games, you will think and like certain things just because everyone else around you does. Like, would you really hate this character or outfit or game remake if you weren't on social media hearing that everyone's saying that this is crap? Maybe you would even enjoy it even. You wouldn't have those same two binary points of views influencing your opinion about everything. For rage bait, it's people online trying to get a reaction out of you to farm engagement for make money. They are literally profiting out of you. All these influencers criticizing games that they don't even play, series that they don't even watch. You're just giving them money instead of supporting those who actually care. Dumb it down comments that keep making themselves difficult, pretending they don't understand what you're saying, are all rage bait. Just don't give them the time of your day. Remember that your time is precious. We're all going to die, so you should definitely not be wasting your time in mindless hate. For misogyny, misinformation spreads, and lack of empathy, honestly, I think everyone knows what these are, so please keep them in mind as well. I won't explain further right now because it's not the point of the video, especially if you already know what these are. But if you don't, feel free to ask me on the comments down below or search for yourself. Knowing more about cognitive biases can really change your perspective in life, which is always a good thing. Anyways, what I wanted to say really is, why fight people over things that are merely products of your environment, when most of the time it's not even your actual personal choice anyways? Do you truly know your personal opinion on things? Or are these opinions borrowed from elsewhere? Again, I just want you to notice that all of this is just reinforcing the us versus them mindset. Us man versus them woman, us smart, them dumb, us good, them bad, us north, them south, us pretty, them ugly. And so you forget how special it is that you found another group of people who enjoy video games. And not only that, but the same game as you, playing at the same time. You already have so much in common, but you continue to focus on what sets you apart. October 2024, Infinity Nikki Closed Battle releases. The toxicity is already establishing itself. In one side, we had all these male influencers making fun of the game just for being catered to women. And on the other side, there were a few men who genuinely enjoyed the game and were not sexist, but they were pushed away from the community itself, all because of those toxic ones. This has a lot to do with some trends that are happening all over the media in the entire world. Books, anime, games, everything. But somehow, everything that is associated with women is viewed as bad or less. We all know women play video games since the dawn of time here, but only now we're finally getting the recognition from the industry with games being made to us. Do these toxic alpha males now say, "Oh nice, we all play games, that's so cool, let's play something together"? Or do they say, "Well, you only play Stardew Valley, so that doesn't count. It's a cozy game. That's not a real video game. Video game is only video game if I'm playing with a sweaty, half-naked man." And, same thing with books. Reading books is now associated with women because of TikTok trends and romantasy and all of that. So now reading books is bad, it's less. Instead of getting everyone to read more, everyone stops reading because now the women join the club. Not only that, early on we got a rise in homophobic posts where a small but very loud group of players started harassing others who posted romantic photos of Nikki with other women, while the photos with male NPCs were celebrated. I actually covered this drama in a lot of detail back then, so you can check my other video if you want to know more about that, even though it's kinda old now. Then, a few months later, in Update 1.5, we get a huge rise on the overall negative bias and also the toxic positivity at the same time. On one side, some players would pressure others into quitting the game, publicly shaming accounts that bought certain outfits or premium clothes. And at the same time, players would also start hunting down all the Infinity Nikki content creators, including myself, who have nothing to do with the game development. We do not work there, we are not making this game, and most of us are not even earning anything to make any of these guides and fun videos that you consume. On the other side, we had the positivity police. People would shut down others' opinions simply because they disagree on things. Everyone should be able to complain and advocate for what they want, as long as they are not attacking or harming any other person. It's about how we speak, not just what. Fast forward, we get to today, where the toxicity has increased a lot and got so normalized that we have people entering the game now just to troll and disrupt other players' experiences. They want to make everyone have a bad time because of whatever opinion they have, trying to force their thoughts on others. For example, this person shamed other users publicly on a Reddit post just because they don't attach a gift when sending letters. This is unacceptable entitlement. People do not owe you anything. And yes, it would be nice if everyone wanted to attach their mat to gift others. I personally always do that and put my best mat. But I don't expect others to do the same. Maybe they're on a rush that maybe they can't afford to farm the mats a lot. I don't know. Maybe they don't want to. Doesn't matter. It's a gift. It's supposed to be gifted, not demanded. Then we get the other way around, where players will write rude and disrespectful messages using the letters, spreading negativity and also misinformation sometimes. Not only that, we also have trolls now, so they don't let players get their daily tasks done by standing in front of them or using a bunch of props to block them repeatedly. And again, quick reminder, I am not here to talk about whether the game is good or bad or if the company should be doing it, nothing like that. I am only talking about player behavior in this video. And this is not just Infinity Nikki, it's Stardew, The Sims, Love and Deep Space, and many others, outside and inside the cozy gaming community. Sure, in Infinity Nikki specifically, is it a very small but loud minority? Yes, but for now. As you can see, we are walking a very similar path to Genshin's player base. And I'm here seeing all of this history repeating itself, and it feels like we are on the first baby steps of a horrible future ahead. So please do not let the toxic gaming behavior get our community. I love our jokes, funny comments, funny outfits, sharing our creativity, and I also love our deeper discussions, debate on how all of these games should improve and how. It's all still there, but it's slowly getting overshadowed by witch hunting and toxicity. So okay, now maybe you're thinking to yourself, well, I don't care about that, it doesn't bother me. Or you can just ignore it if it bothers you. And I was like that too, to be completely honest. And I tend to play games on my own and just focus on single player and never really use social media. So I've been ignoring these things pretty much my entire life. I am not some altruistic wise wizard or anything like that, but over time, I very slowly realized that this is in fact a serious issue, guys. This is affecting everyone, and we should really be thinking and talking about this. This online behavior ends up normalizing harmful behavior. This online toxicity that only grows desensitizes people to violence and cruelty. Harassment, slurs, doxing, misogyny are considered part of our gaming world. It's a standard, it's a staple. And the truth is that this is making us regress socially. Mental health issues have only grown with time, and you never know what the other person is going through. A bad day can mean everything, and the reality is that gaming is not in a vacuum. It doesn't stand alone, separate from real life. We are all real people behind the screen, and every single action and decision we make have an impact, even if you don't notice or you don't want to think about it. Maybe nothing will change and people will just get more and more toxic over time, and I could just continue to play single player games with my mic off forever or whatever, but I believe that this affects our future everywhere, not just in games, even if some people don't realize it yet. If you do care, however, I wanted to include here some of the things that I do try and do my part on all of this and try to kind of like set a good example, right? I do have an extra pressure for having a YouTube channel. Not that my YouTube channel is big, it's definitely not, but still I am setting an example for some younger people who watch me. So feel free to do these things as well or suggest new ones in the comments down below. Before engaging in discussion, ask yourself, is this a fact or do I think this is a fact? Just because something makes sense to you, that doesn't mean it's true. Play detective with yourself. Search stuff before saying something because sometimes we can spread misinformation accidentally. I have seen it many times here on the channel. I know that none of you had ill intent when you said those things, but it doesn't mean that it's true. Also, try to understand other opinions by being a bit more tolerant. For example, something that I do that I wrote down just to mention quickly is when anyone says anything, I pretend that there is an emotional layer on top of the actual content of what they are saying. So I remove that emotional layer and focus on the main information only. You can always try to learn how to discern what's an opinion you agree with and why you agree with, and learn how to let go of the opinions you don't. We don't have to agree on everything. When someone is asking for help and you don't have the answers or don't have any suggestion, maybe it's a good time to not speak. Picking a fight or putting someone else down just to make yourself feel good does not help you and does not help them. Also, not everything is cringe. Life is short. We are all going to die someday. We are just in a floating ball in the void. Let people enjoy things. Not everyone is worried with what others think about them constantly. And if you see a rage bait post, just ignore it. Don't click. Resist. You are giving them money that they don't deserve. Don't let the baiters change your perception or your experience with things. They don't deserve to have that influence over you. If anything, be petty about it. And lastly, be kind. Respect yourself and respect others. And if you see someone making an unfair comment, like a misogynistic comment, racist, or anything like that, don't be afraid to speak up. Just intervene. Shame them even. These evil people need to be afraid again. They need to stop displaying harmful behavior and getting away with it because nobody says anything. And that's all. I truly hope that I am not misunderstood. I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this video, but anyways, what I wanted with this video was to inspire reflection and genuinely try to spark some change and some discussions maybe using the small platform and space that I have. I believe gaming is supposed to be fun, safe, and inclusive. That's what made me fall in love with video games from childhood, and I still am today in my 30s. If you'd like me to cover any specific topics or games, or if you'd like to share your stories, have you ever experienced toxicity in games or other media? What kind of community would you like to be in? What's the dream? Please let me know down below. I read every comment always, and I will make sure to read yours. Thank you so much for watching and see you on the next one.
Ryan Little.